Good morning, everybody. This is Stacy Turner. This is our DMOpro Zoom. We're so excited to have you, and we're continuing our summer sales skills series. I missed that word, right? This is definitely about skill set. And I had talked to you guys last week about a booth I was going to do at our county fair. So I was going to see, this whole conversation, asking questions like skills conversation. That's what we talked about last week. If I could put it into place and see if there was a difference in our conversations. And so I've done a booth at this county fair 4 different years. I did not last year. I was there with our girls. They had booths selling other things. So I was there, but I didn't have anything set up for Juice Plus. So this year I thought, in the past, I've done full-blown Juice Plus booth, with the banners, with the tables, with the whole setup of all of the products, with the tower garden. Like I had everything there, and I had good conversations. Same thing, but this year I was like, I want to do something a little bit different. And I think I had told you guys that if you follow me on Facebook, you saw that my daughter and I we would buy these realistic looking baby dolls, and then we would resell them. And so I had those at the booth, and I had bought like 28 of them. They had been a really good price, and I went a little crazy. They're so cute when they come in the mail. It's like ridiculous. I'm unboxing them, then like sending pictures to Brielle. Oh my gosh, this one's so cute. But it was just kind of something fun she and I did together. Then she moved away. And so I still had all these dolls I needed to sell, and they were in our upstairs. So I was like, okay, I need to sell these. And there was such good traffic that I knew it was a good opportunity to try to get those sold. And I did. I sold all but 2 of them, so 26 of these these dolls. And so I also had books there that it's called Blind Date with a Book. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's kind of a big TikTok trend where you wrap the book really pretty, and then it has a tag that says what is in what kind of book. So it tells the genre and then some details of the book. And so I'm giving you guys this information because I want you to know it wasn't just a Juice Plus booth that I did. So I had the babies, I had books right beside me and some on a table. And then I had a sign for sourdough that was hanging on the wall behind me, right kind of where the babies were. And then I had a little sourdough sign sitting on the table. So I also had the boxes of like 1 box of Juice Plus, all 4. The quad was sitting out. So 2 boxes on top, 2 on the bottom, a little cup that had the fruit, veggies, berry capsules in it. And then this postcard sitting right beside it. And that's all I had for Juice Plus. I didn't have anything else. That was it. And then in front of that, I had a clipboard that had this sheet that says, please keep me, yes, please keep me in the loop. And then they could put their name and then what their interest was. So the interest was sourdough, health events, or Juice Plus. So they could mark which ones they wanted. And I had a flyer for my next event, which had all 3 events on it. So one is a coffee chat that we're doing next Saturday. Sunday is a sourdough class. And then the third one is Wendy Campbell on the 6th that I'm hosting and introducing her. So we're doing a dinner here at my house. And I've done that before where I just come into another room, I introduce her. So I'm on the TV in the living room on a different computer. And so it works fine that way too. So that's the 3 events that I had. So I want to say it was the easiest I've ever had of getting into a Juice Plus conversation, which doesn't make sense. Like it kind of makes sense that there was too much going on. It would have been too distracting. I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but this is how my conversations went. Instead of typically, when you're at a booth, you have all of your display and you're standing there, and as somebody walks by, maybe they kind of like don't even give you eye contact, or they just kind of like walk right by and you don't see them. I see you guys laughing because you've done this yourself, right? And so I would be trying to catch them. Hey, would you like to try a gummy? Or have you ever heard of Juice Plus? So you're trying to get them to come engage with you. Well, this is what I used this time. As they would walk by, I know my customer, the person who's going to most order from me, when I look at my customer base, they're not young moms, they're not men, it's women my age or a little bit older. So as people were walking by, that's who I'm engaging in conversation with. Like, I know they're my most likely customer. It's not like I didn't talk to anyone else, but I wasn't trying to get, a 20-year-old into a conversation with me about Juice Plus. It's just going to be a longer, more difficult conversation. I don't know. I wasn't into that as much. But what was cool is the dolls brought the young families, right? Or the grandmas with the grandchildren. That was the interest there. And then the books did attract the younger generation where they know about these on TikTok. So if somebody's walking by, they didn't see the babies, they didn't say anything about the books, I would just say, "Are you a reader?" And then they would say, "What?" Or they would say, "Yeah, I do read." And then I would say, "Have you ever heard of Blind Date with a Book before?" So I could start a conversation about something else. If they said, "No, I don't read," then I would say, "Okay, no worries. Have you ever thought about taking a class to learn how to make sourdough?" And they would say, yes or no. Let's just say they said no. So they said no to the book. Then they're like, "No, I don't really want to learn how to bake, or I'm a terrible baker." And I'll say, "Okay, I have one more. Have you ever heard of Juice Plus?" And they would kind of laugh and they're like, "No, what is that?" And then I would have this card here and I would say, "It's fruits and vegetables in a capsule. And it just helps us bridge the gap between what we eat and what we don't eat." And then I would ask them next, "Do you have any health issues that you're working on, or something that you're working to prevent it from your family?" And I would just get into a conversation with them. If they were like, "No, I hate nutrition." I mean, one lady said, "Oh no, I don't have anything to do with that kind of stuff. If it's not a pill from my doctor, I don't have anything to do with it." And I said, "Okay, have a great day. I can't help you then. Like, just go." And she was like, and she walked away and we were fine. Like, I'm not going to try to draw her into a conversation, right? Like, can you imagine how lengthy that would be? And then how about if she's walking by, or if she's still there and I'm trying to convince her and 5 other people walk by that could have been interested. So if they were interested, off they went. It was no big deal, right? But I had some really, really good conversations. I had 3 sheets of this, people's names that were really seriously interested. I had a lady that did order on the spot, and I got a team member, so a lady from Oklahoma, that she took Juice Plus, and let this be a lesson to all of us, okay? Listen to this story. She took Juice Plus, a coworker of hers shared with her, but she did not know the coworker's sister, who was the one I'm thinking that was the team member. Okay, so she lived in a different state. That partner with Juice Plus never contacted her about her order. So I said, "Do you know about the Healthy Starts for families, where somebody in your family can get it for free?" And she was like, "No, what is that?" So I told her about that. And then she points to the Omegas and says, "What is this one? I don't have this one." And I said, "That's the Omega." So I explained it and I said, "Did they talk to you about that?" And she was like, "No." And I said, "Do they ever let you know your box is going to be shipping?" And she was like, "No, nobody's ever contacted me." And I said, "Well, let me be the first to apologize to you on behalf of the company, because that's not how this works. We have an obligation and a responsibility to our customers to stay in contact with them. And I'm sorry nobody's reached out to educate you further on this, but I'm happy to do so today." So we had a great conversation. And then she said, "Okay, I want to order the Omegas and the Luminate." And I was like, "Great, I'll help you find the person that you order from." And she said, "Why would I go with her? She's never contacted me. I would like to order it from you." And I said, "Okay, but even better, what if you order from yourself?" And then she was like, "Well, what do you mean?" So I told her about being a partner and she was like, "Yeah, let's do that." So we called the company, got her order canceled from the other person. It was going to be shipping in a couple weeks. And then she placed a new order for herself, ordered the quad, and then also an the Illuminate. So we got all of that done on right there with her. So it was a good hour that she was at the table as we were talking. So I know people walk by, but I don't know, it was worth it to me. And so I don't have any clue where that's going to go, but let that be a lesson to us. If you don't take care of your customer, and your customers don't know that there's options and you've never contacted them, don't be shocked if they go to the county fair in another state and some NMD snatches them up. Like, I did my best to try to like send her back, but she had no desire to go back to the other person. So you just don't want, somebody else, a customer's sister to become a team member, and then you've never shared with them, and then their customer's order is going to go to their family. You will lose that. So just always make sure that your team or your customers know that there's some sort of system out there where they can get, be a partner with us. They should at least know that's a possibility. So I just thought that was really interesting, these conversations that I had, and I was just really relaxed, and I didn't feel like I had to get into these Juice Plus conversations or like try to draw people to the table. And I will say too, as the whole week went by, I think I was there 4 days. It was one more day, but we went dress shopping. So my mom ran the booth, but I took all the Juice Plus. She just finished selling the dolls and some books. But I just enjoyed the time. And I've been gone so much lately. I was surprised at how many people came by, of like true friends and connections, like that were genuinely happy to see me, that I was genuinely happy to see them. They came around the table, they gave me a hug, we had conversations. Like, it wasn't, I just realized how rich my relationships are and how far I've come in 7 years, from knowing nobody that first time I did a booth to how many people I knew. And then my parents were like, do you know everybody? Because they had a booth right next to me. They're like, how do you know this many people? Like, they didn't just like, oh, hi. Like, they knew me. I knew them. I was having conversations with them. And so it was like, oh, this is where I go to see my friends. Apparently it was great because they all came by, all the little conversations and stuff. But I just really had fun this year, where in the past, I just kind of felt like, okay, this was the other thing I realized. When I'm doing just Juice Plus, it was $200 for the booth. How many customers would I have to get to recoup that $200, right? At the end of this 4 days, I had a whole pocket full of cash from selling the books and the dolls. I didn't feel like I wasted my time or my money there. If the conversations go nowhere with Juice Plus, which I know that's not true, they're different conversations. You have to nurture them in a different way, but they eventually will play out, right? Like, but it's not an immediate gratification. Somebody's not giving you cash in your hand. Because I was getting cash in my hand, I didn't feel like it was for nothing, if that makes sense. And I know that it's not for nothing. I know that this is a long-term conversation that's going to take time to nurture. I know that about Juice Plus, but it kind of took the pressure off of not having, just conversations and nothing's happening. Like, I wasn't expecting anybody to order, definitely was not expecting to get a partner. And then there we were. So I think it mentally took some pressure off myself. I just had more fun at the booth. And I don't know, I just kind of want to get you guys thinking. I mean, I do think, I still believe this very strongly. Let this Juice Plus income be something that fuels other streams of income. Find things that you enjoy doing, something you're good at, and then teach classes on it, or, be involved to where it's also something that's generating income. It does take the pressure off of just my Juice Plus check. It's not the only way that I have income coming in. I know that there's other ways I can go out and make income. It's one of multiple things that I have that brings in income. It takes the pressure to where I'm not so stressed that I have to make this work. Does that make sense? And I think at that table, I felt the same way. I didn't have to have Juice Plus conversations. They were more natural, and I was just having more fun. So I don't know what we do with this, but I wanted to kind of give you guys an update. I was definitely asking more questions of, how does that impact your life? Whatever they would tell me. I was digging into those questions and really leaning in, being cognitive though, like they weren't there to have serious health conversations. because they were there to look at things at the fair. But if I could have a moment with them where they felt seen and heard, they're more likely to look at the information I have to share. And I let them know I've got a crazy busy week here. The service isn't good. It's going to be probably Monday before I get this information to you. I've got wedding shopping, like just be patient with me, but I will get this information. So I wasn't pressured like I had to that night. I mean, we weren't getting home till like 11. I couldn't have texted them anyway, but like I kind of took the pressure off myself too. But it was like the most fun I had had ever at a booth. So I wanted to give you guys the information because I said I would come back and kind of give you an update. I'm curious, like what sticks out to you guys or what stands out to you about that? Have you had a similar experience? What do you guys do at a booth to kind of draw people in or to have, more unique conversations? I would just like to hear from you guys. Does anyone want to share? And just remember you're muted.
Stacy, I'll share because your example of what you used to do. I mean, I've done so many booths in all the years I've been with Juice Plus, and it was what your old way. And it always didn't feel good, and it was always just a challenge. And in a devotion I was doing here, I don't know, it was quite a few months ago, but I have it on my vision board, is working softer, not harder. And that's exactly what you just did. And I just love, love, love what you did and the connections that you made.
Yeah, it was more fun. Like I said, at the end, I walked away saying like, that was fun. I enjoyed that, where I didn't always with the Juice Plus booth. Thank you, Patty. Anyone else? I like that, work hard or softer, not harder. And I'm guessing, Patty, you would mean like softer in the conversation versus trying to make the conversations happen.
Absolutely. And the funny thing is, I've gotten really busy with my personal training, so I have been softer with Juice Plus, and I have 9 customers this month, and it's just, and 1 new team member. So it's just like, it does happen. And it's, to me, a lot of it is the energy. Sometimes we're so focused and so, what do I want to say? Just striving to get an order or a new partner, that energy comes through. But if you just, loving what you do and having fun, I think it attracts different people. So I think it's an energy thing too.
Yeah, I agree for sure. Karen, did you want to chime in? Did you have something to share?
I like your paper where they could indicate their interest, because that helps you narrow down. It seems like, at least at our county fair, where they would put us would be where people come through and they're looking for all the free things that they can grab at each booth. And if we had, this was not a Juice Plus thing, this was a previous business, but we just had a door prize and had slips with their name and number to give out the door prize, but that's so hard to sort through at the end. Was that somebody just looking to get something free, or is this someone who had a genuine interest? And it seems like your sign up sheet really helps you like get to who requires your attention and is going to appreciate it. So I did really like that tip. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Karen. And I will give you guys a form like this. I'll give you the PDF that you can print it off. So I had sourdough health events and Juice Plus. There were more people that were interested in the sourdough classes, which is fine, because guess what they're going to hear about at sourdough? They're going to hear about Juice Plus. We're talking gut health. Like it's fine. Like if that's the door they walk in, those are great events that get customers and partners too. I was totally fine with that. Most of them, if they were interested in sourdough, a lot of them also checked Juice Plus. But if it was a quick, conversation, they saw the sign and they're like, oh, I do want to do some sourdough classes. Then I just was like, excellent, just put your name here. Some people had like very specific conversations we had, like I would say, because I have an option where it said Facebook name. So if they said, oh, I live in Carlsbad, which is about 30 minutes away, I was like, hey, no worries. My mom hosts Carlsbad events sometimes. Just write Carlsbad on this line, and then I'll know to invite you to that one. Or like one lady we were talking, and apparently it was about ADHD. I don't remember that conversation, but she wrote ADHD on there. There was another one that was talking about diabetes. We had a conversation about that. They could give me more detail example of what they, and I would say, write that on there, because I promise I'm not going to remember that. And I want to make sure I give you some more specific. So when I'm following up with that person, I can give more specific info to that. All of these are going to go into Project Broadcast. So there's no way I can singly write a message to each one of them. Like, it would take forever today. So I'm going to audibly dictate into my phone their name and phone number. I will put that into probably an Excel sheet. So I'm using notes. Then from there, it goes into a CSV file, I think is what it's called. And then I will put it into Project Broadcast. I can make tags for Carlsbad, Artesia sourdough, whatever I decide on my tags, and then I can send out messages that will have their personal name on there. Then I can go back through that list and find those that wanted specific information and go back and send them that specific info. So having systems in place is really an important aspect to this, right? Like, that's a lot of people to try to stay in contact with. I know myself that follow-up is not going to happen outside of a system like Project Broad. I will drop the ball, and I'll lose those contacts over time. These are very cold market. It's going to take nurturing and connection. And again, the long game with these, I'm not expecting orders next week from any of them. Honestly, I wasn't that way. It took me a good month and a half, but Sharon was good at staying connected with me. And I have these events set up. And then I told him, after these events, I'm going to have to wait until after the wedding. So it's probably not going to be till next end of September before I get to some more events. But, I'm always doing this. And I would say this too. I would say, okay, the babies and the books, they're fun. Like, I enjoy doing these, but nutrition is my passion. Have you ever heard of Juice Plus before? This is what has my heart. And then they were like, no, what is that? So that was another way to kind of get into that conversation. These are fun. The babies are fun. The books are fun, but that my real heart is in helping families simplify their nutrition. Have you ever heard of Juice Plus? I use those lines a lot. So those seem to be easy ways to get into those conversations. But I will give you guys the sheet for that. I've never done it where people sign up to get something free. And maybe, Karen, like, if you're selling something else, you don't get put into that area, because I was in a different area of the fair where I know we got more traffic than the other I had been in before. So maybe having something else selling, they do kind of put you in a different area. So yeah, Vicky, you had something to add?
I just wanted to quickly say thank you so much. That is genius to have other things, because I've been at so many fairs, and they're more interested in a corn dog and cotton candy sometimes than they are, especially nutrition. So that is genius. I will use that now forever going forward. Thank you.
You're welcome. And if you guys want to know, like, I buy the dolls off of Amazon. I look for them on sale, something like around $32, like, as where I like to keep the pricing. I've just kind of figured out over time which companies are, decent dolls that look really cute and have cute outfits that I don't necessarily have to redress. And then I mark them up $30 to $35 for the same doll. So I even more sometimes, if I can get the same dolls for $25, then I will still mark it up to $65 is the least I charge for it, up to $85, and they sell out. So it's a good profit margin for something you don't have to make yourself. Like, I don't have to make the dolls. People think I do, and they give me all this credit. I'm like, no. I just say, no, I've just found websites that have really great quality dolls and good pricing that I can keep it affordable for families. It's so fun to see the kids, like the little girls are so excited to see these babies, and they are cute. So it was fun on that aspect too, but it's off of Amazon. I didn't tell them, no, I just bought them on Amazon. I just said websites, but that's where I got them if you guys are interested in doing the same thing. Angela?
Yeah, thank you, Stacy. So with doing, like you were saying, having a second thing available in a booth and not just Juice Plus, I am also a massage therapist. So I have a chair and a tent that I've done chair massage events at, different like barbecues and gatherings and things like that. But I haven't ever done a booth at any fairs or anything. How do you think that would work if I am giving I feel like that might be too much time distracted if I'm giving chair massages to have conversations. Or do you think that would be a good like second
I
thing
do.
to tie in with it?
I do. So you could do like 8-minute massage where you're focusing on their shoulders, or, you know, something that's like pretty basic that they're able to see a difference. And then the question I would ask them, so you could have like time slots where people sign up for 8-minute massages, but build in some time between that, right? To where you've got some time to have a conversation with them. But you could ask, you could say, I'm curious, what are you doing right now to support your nutrition, or to support yourself nutritionally? So you could say, I feel a lot of tightness here, you know, feels like maybe some stress in your life, some inflammation. What are you doing to support yourself nutritionally right now? Right now could mean in that moment, in the stressful situation there or whatever, just trying to get into a conversation with them, and then say, I would love to have you come back if you would like to book for a full massage. Here's my schedule for this next week or next 2 weeks out. Would one of these dates work for you? And then try to get them to book a true massage with you. And then say, you know, I asked you what you're doing nutritionally to support yourself. This is what I highly recommend. You know, there's something about the physical work of a body, but what we're doing internally makes as much of an impact on that as anything else. You know, I noticed quite a bit of you know, inflammation with that pain that you were explaining. Have you heard of Juice Plus? And then I would go into that quick explanation. Obviously, you're not doing a presentation, but you could say, okay, I've got you scheduled for next week on, you know, Tuesday at 2:00. I'm going to send you a couple of videos to watch in the meantime, because I would like for you to hear, you know, that internal side of things. Let me send you a couple of videos, and then I'll see you on Tuesday. And then you just move them along. So you're not there to present to them, but you're there to plant seeds in their mind. That's what I would do. I think that's a perfect way to have conversations. If they can't do an 8-minute massage, then I would just have your calendar and say, you know, how about coming next week at 4 on Tuesday? Would that work for you for a full hour massage? I would really like to help you. And I would just get those booked for the longer massages, knowing that's where your relationship is built with them. You've got them for a full hour. You can definitely have a conversation nutritionally with them at that point. So I think that would be perfect. Yeah. Now I'm kind of
Thank
wanting
you.
to go back to school to be massaged. Like, why not? Let's go. Yeah, I think that's great.
Thank you.
Mhm. Anyone else? Maybe toss out something that you guys like to do that you're like, okay, how would I incorporate this in? Pixel78, I don't know your name, but I saw you unmuted. Do you want to join in?
Yeah, Stacy, I've done these and I'm thinking of putting in cactus succulents or some type of plants that's good to have a segue into tower gardens.
Yeah, you could definitely try that. People are attracted to plants, to buying plants. I say the more you can have your goods at the front of the booth to where they don't have to walk in. Walking in feels committal, like, oh, I'm committed. They're going to have a conversation with me. But the more you can have it up front, where just stopping by, they see it, and you can say, you know, plants are fun. You know, this is fun, but nutrition is really my passion. And then you can take them into that Juice Plus conversation. But especially with the Tower Garden no longer impacting our Juice Plus business, you guys, our paychecks are built in the residual income of team that are customers, that have customers, right? Like, we want to focus on getting people on Juice Plus. The Tower Garden can bring in conversations. But I've had the Tower Garden there before. I didn't have the same effect of having something else that I was selling. So I don't know if that makes a difference, but it seemed to this time. But I love plants, and you're going to attract, you know, a certain type of person that kind of walks by and likes plants. Like, plants are
Right.
plus is plants, you know, like that there could be a connection there. So yeah, I don't see a problem with that.
Definitely. And sorry, I don't have my picture on. I'm driving. So
No, you're fine. Stay safe there. Sue, did you want to add in?
Oh, I just wanted to say, my previous business was educational toys and games, and oh, sorry, I didn't turn my video on. And so I would set up booths with the Juice Plus stuff on one side. Maybe I'd have samples of gummies, but then I'd have like some of the demo toys out. I just have inventory left that I sell, you know, and have, and that would bring in the toys, bring in people with kids or grandmas or whatever, and then, you know, I could talk about the health study, and you know, it keeps them there long enough. They might buy some of the stuff, and I have books and things, and but then we can talk about, you know, the nutrition side of life too. And so that's been really fun. I just found it really great. Sometimes Juice Plus is a little harder to get into the conversation, but something like that is just, you know, immediately attractive.
Right.
And I make some sales.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're bringing something else is what attracts them to that. And then from there you have the conversation. So yeah, educational
Right.
toys and resources, that's a perfect one. And you can, you know, for somebody who's a teacher or a retired teacher, you know, in that case, you have the educational toys and resources, and you say, like, I've been in education and I love, you know, equipping teachers and parents with toys that actually help, you know, their brains develop and that are an educational resource. And just like I love education on that side, my heart and passion is educating people about staying well and healthy through whole food nutrition. Have you ever heard of Juice Plus? Like that's an
Right.
easy segue into that conversation too.
Yeah, and I'm a teacher too, past teacher, and so like I'm still educating a lot, and this is
Right.
impacting a lot of people. So
Yes. Yeah. Teachers are phenomenal. A lot of my NMD team under Gloria, they're teachers and they taught together and they just have really rich relationships. And it's just an easy, like I'm an educator and I'm an educator. Like, you know, it's now you're
exactly.
educating children and now you're educating families, and it's an easy segue for that. So that's great. Thank
Yeah.
you so much,
Yeah.
Sue. I appreciate that.
Sure.
Yes, Karen, go ahead.
If you have an activity at your booth for the kids to do that doesn't take a long time, but still their parents are standing there waiting for them to do the activity, then and if you can have a partner or one of your older kids be in charge of the activity so that you can be focused on the parents who are standing there waiting. Another good idea is at our fair, it was a hairdresser, but you could easily do this if you get like chalk color for hair, but buy it in the Juice Plus colors. So then those kids go out into the fair when you're done with them. They're like, where did you get that? And they're like, oh, you go to this booth that's on the left-hand side. And pretty soon they're like, is this the booth with the hair color? And you're like, absolutely. And hopefully they're with their parents, so that you can talk to their parents while they're there for the activity. So that just popped in my head while you were brainstorming.
Yeah, that would be fun. Definitely, that's fun. And I think what you said is important. Like you've got to talk to the parents, right? So again, I'm trying in some ways to attract or have conversations with the people that can make a decision, make a financial decision, or has an interest. So yeah, I would say just anything you can do to have those conversations. Marcia in the chat said to remember that tomorrow night is a replay event with Leanne Harris, and Lucy and Laura, and they're talking, look, Leanne, Lucy, and Laura, all the L's are doing the insulin resistance call with us. It's excellent, and they bring Juice Plus in. You know what? Thank you, Marcia, for reminding me, because I did want to give you guys another tip. I know we're going over here. So are you guys like me where there's an event and then you see the recording? So maybe you weren't able to go to the event or you just forgot the event was online, but then you see the recording and you're like, oh, I really want to listen to that replay. And then you know, 17 more Voxer messages come in and that Voxer is like lost. And you're like, where was that one audio that I was wanting to listen to? So this is something that I have found in my notes section on my phone. I have to listen and like listening or listen to next or something. And then as those come in, I just copy them and I paste them in there. And then when I've got time where I'm traveling, like I'm driving or I'm cleaning my Airbnb, or I've got something, I've got some time, I'm doing something else here at the house, then I go to that list and I listen to those. And I actually, the ones that really catch my attention, I might not be able to listen to it then, but if I put it into that place, then I can go back and I can listen to it. So if I love it, I'll save it in some other area, or I'll have another note that says like event ideas or send to customers. And then I'll put those kind of in different categories, but having a note section for those that I personally want to listen to. When I have time to listen, I usually don't have time to go back through 3 weeks worth of Voxers to find the recording, right? But if I've already saved it in that moment that it caught my attention and I put it in there, then I'm more likely to actually listen to it. So that's kind of kept me on top of things lately when it's been so crazy. But man, a lot of those recordings, they make excellent watch parties. Like phenomenal watch parties that you can build around a certain topic that draws people's attention, like insulin resistance or diabetes or hormone health. That other one by Leanne Harris, fantastic. Like I just know I do want to do an event on that. So I've got that saved in there. And then when I'm able to put that into my calendar, then I will do an event specific on hormones and I'll be able to pass that out, which again, I think it's good a lot of times to do those events where it's on a different topic of interest. And then of course, Juice Plus is brought into that. Then every once in a while, do like a very specific Juice Plus event where we know this is what we're talking about, and you bring those conversations back into those. But yeah, it's a great way. Marsha,
I love that idea.
yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm driving. Should I have raised my hand? I'm so sorry.
Nope, you're good.
I was okay. I was just saying, I love what you did about how you share those into your notes, and I also do the same thing. Mine is called "Listen in My Car" because I always listen in my car. And so, but I was wondering, is there a Voxer chat that we can all like exchange different recordings like this? Like that would be so great. Like all of these recordings that you do every Monday, I know that they're in one place, but if we could add these along with like other recordings that other people have found, and like the Leanne Harris events and those kind of things, like anytime there's a recording, is there a place that we can just forward them into so that we can all just like go to that place and listen? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And do you know of any?
Yeah, I do. So there's a Facebook group called Recordings. I don't know if you guys are a part of that, but almost all of these get put into there. And so that Facebook group has a search function like any Facebook group does. So it's a little magnifying glass. And then you type in there diabetes or insulin resistance or hormones or Leanne Harris, and then it will pull up all the things that she's ever done that has been put in there. But a lot of times in the events chat on Voxer, those recordings are put in there as well. But I think the best place for those would be that Facebook group called Recordings. And then you find it, and the image on there is like red and black and it says Recordings. That's the profile picture of it. But it just requests to be added in, and then they see that you're a Juice Plus person and let you in. But I refer back to that a lot. Like especially if somebody's wanting something very specific, or into boards under the frequently asked questions section there. But the Recordings Facebook group, I think, is fabulous.
I totally agree. I love that as well. And I love that what you shared about the, the search for that. I think that's wonderful. Thank you for that. I was just wondering if there's one for Voxers, like a Voxer chat, but not that you know of, huh?
Not that I know of outside of the events chat where they're actually putting the flyers, and then often the recording gets put back in there into that same chat. But the hard thing about, well, I mean, you can search on Voxer. I don't know if you guys know how to do that, but if you're paying for the $3 a month function, all of the Voxer messages are saved, and you can pull the bar down just at the very beginning. You pull it down, and then you can type messages or chats. Like if it's messages, you type a word, and then it will search all of the messages that had that word in there. So you can do it that way too. I don't know if you know how to do that, Tiffany, but that is a way that you can use Voxer as a search function. I don't know if that makes sense, how you guys do that. Let me just try to show you. So this is just in all of this. If I just pull down, now that little search bar comes up. So I can type in that. So let me just type diabetes. So I can now have the option of chats. So that would be like a chat or a contact name called diabetes. I don't have any of that, right? So that's what it's looking for. But if I switch over to messages, now it has all of these messages that diabetes was a word in there. So then I can go back and find one of the recordings on that. So I don't know if you guys knew that was there. All right, I'm gonna stop recording. Thank you guys for joining us. I've got a few minutes if you have some questions, but we don't want this to go too much longer.